Hello, welcome to Just Prime. As part of this video, we are going to see some more CRUD operations by using MySql, Hibernate, and JPA. So, as per the previous video, we have seen about a simple CRUD operation called save. So, now we are going to see some more CRUD operations by using MySql, JPA, and Hibernate. So, let me open the previous example, what we have seen it. So, based on that, we can move on it. So if you see the previous example, we have written a controller and there is a method. So inside that we just called a simple CRUD operation called save, right? So let me give the proper name for this one as a save and this one as a save. Just I have given a proper name for the our endpoints and API name. So that's it. So this is the simple CRUD operation. What it will do, it will just save the student object into the MySQL by using the repositories what we have created it student repository, and we are using the JPA repository, and this is the entity class and this is the primary key. So basically inside this we have all CRUD operation. You can see over here save. Let me open here. So there are many operations which is not visible here, but it is coming as part of the uh, super interface. If you see here, there is a save all is there. So now we are going to see different kind of operations which is available, like save we have seen already. Now we are going to see find by ID and find all, and we are going to see delete all. So all these kind of operations we are going to see how to use it. Okay, so let me go back. Before going back to the our coding part, let me open our MySQL. So what we have created table before, and we will just verify the data. So we can see this is our student table and we have some set of records. So these are some of the records. It's already available in our table. So now what I'm going to do, we are going to see another CRUD operations. Okay, so go to the controller and we are going to see now another controller called, now we have saved the record by using the save CRUD operations. Now we are going to see another one called get a student record from the database. So how we are going to get it? So we have already many records. So if for instance, if you want to get one particular record from the database, so how we are going to get it? So I have written API called get by ID. So what I want to do, I want to take one of the student ID as an input, and I want to pass to this our repository, and I want to get the corresponding student details, and I want to return it back to the user. So this is what I had to implement it. So let me remove it. So what I had to do, I have to take one of the input from this client as a student ID, and then I have to so this is the request param. So you can put at the rate of request param, and this is a integer ID. So what I want to do here, I want to take student ID from the user, student ID from the client or user, and then I had to use that one, and then I want to get the student details from the our repository, find by ID. So if you see here, right, so there is a API which is already inbuilt, find by ID. We are going to use it. So what it will do, it will take student ID as an input and it will try to give the corresponding student ID, one ID, one or none. Okay, one or none. So which will return it back, right? So this is the ID I'm going to give, and it will give option of student. A return type you see here, optional of student. So I'm going to get one student from that. So this is the return type. So finally I'm going to return it back to the client or end user. So this is the way we can able to retrieve one simple student or one student by using the primary key as a student ID, and then give it to the repository, and you will get the corresponding student and return it back. Okay, so to test this one I need to run our application. So let me run our application, then we are going to see it. So we have our control is ready, and now we are going to make it up. Okay, so our controller is ready, our application is ready. Now I am going to call our REST service from the client program. So this is the local host. So what is the API name we had given? Just put this one, just put it down. So basically if you see here, the API name is here, get by ID. You can take it instead of test. You can put get by ID, but this API is required one of the input called ID. So you have to give ID equal to, but what ID you are going to give? So that ID you have to take it from the database. So here there are many students are available, right? So let me take, this is one of the student ID, and give it here and press enter. So you can see here, so this is the student ID. You can able to retrieve suresh at the rate of gmail.com, right? So this is one of the basic student details. We get it back, and if you want to see the response properly, you can just print it, pretty print. So let me try another student example. Let me take one. Instead of this one, I am going to give one, press enter, and you will be getting another student details called ramesh gmail.com. So this is the way you can use the find all by ID, find by ID, by passing the student ID, and you can get one particular one and you can return it back, right? So this is one API which is useful. If you know the correct student ID, you can pass it and you will get the corresponding student details, right? Say for instance, now another API we will see by different one. In case if you want to see all the students, say for instance, now I want to retrieve all the students, not only one specific details, but I want to retrieve everything, all the student details. So in that case, so give the API name as find all. So find all, but I don't want to give any specific ID. So this is the one. So basically what it will do, it will try to fetch all the students which is available inside the database, right? So it's not specific to one student, but it will try to give everything. But we have to know the return type is not single student, it's a list of students, right? So this is another API which is available in the repository, which is inbuilt repository API, which will give all the students inside the specific student table, right? So for this we no need to give any input, so we are not taking any request parameter, right? So let me restart our application, then we will verify it. Okay, now our application is up and running. Now we are going to call this one with the help of find all API. So let me go back here. So I'm going to remove get by ID. Instead of that, I'm going to use find all, and you can see all the student ID, it got written back. If you want to see proper JSON format, you can verify it out. So this is the way you can use another API called find all, and which will return all the records from the database. If you want to see, compare with your database, just open it, keep it aside, and you can see over here. So the first one is minus 1783308, so this record you can see, and another one is minus 16 ending 245. So this is the way you can retrieve all the records and you can send back to the API caller. So this is about find by ID, find by all. So now we are going to see another API called delete. Say for instance, now you want to delete one particular student ID, right? So let me try that one. Again, take the same API and paste it over here. So now what I'm going to do, instead of get, I'm going to use delete by ID. So delete by ID. So before deleting the ID, so I need a student ID, which student I want to delete it. So in that case, I need an input. So I had to use the delete. There is another API called delete by ID. So instead of find, you have to use so delete by ID. But what it will do, it won't return anything. It's a kind of different return type. We have to return once the delete is success. What you have to do, you have to return something back to the user. So what it will return generally, it will return generally void. It won't return anything. If successfully deleted, it will be silent. If there is an issue, it will throw an exception, kind of illegal argument exception, something like that. So now I'm going to return success delete and give the student ID, right? So I want to give back this the message to the user. Once deletion is successful, I want to return this string. So this is it. So basically what it wants, the student ID is deleted successfully, it will give success delete and corresponding ID, it will return back to the user, right? So now this is the way you can use the delete by ID. But to test this one, you have to restart your application. So let me restart it. So your application is up and running now. We can say 8080, and let me go back to your MySql. So these are the records are available. So let me take, this is the one, the first one ending with 3308, and how to call our API, we have to go back to your controller and take the API name is delete ID. So let me go back to your REST controller client, paste it here, and it require an input from the user called student ID, what we are going to give. So let me take on a simple student ID or first one and keep it here and press enter. So you can see now success delete, and this is the record got deleted ending with 3308. So now let me refresh here. So now the record is gone, right? So basically now we can able to delete a simple record, a student record, with the help of a delete by ID. Similarly, we have another API called delete all, so that we will be testing at the last. If you try to delete everything, we don't have any records for the test. So there is another API called delete all. So for this we no need to take any input from the user, but it will try to delete everything. That's it. So we no need to give any return ID back to the user, so we just give success. So this we will be testing at the last. If you try to delete everything, we don't have any record to play it. So I'm going to execute this API at the last. So So before that, we are going to see another API called update. So far we have seen how to save a simple student and how to get the ID and how to get all the students and how to delete a particular student, and this we will be seeing at the end. So before deleting a student, we are going to see how to update a particular student, so that we are going to see it, right? So let me take a simple one existing API and we will modify by doing that one. So I'm going to make this as a update ID, update by ID and you will be taking a student ID as an input. Before updating, what you have to first, you have to get the student ID and then modify the student as per your requirement and then save it. So what I'm going to give, I'm going to give this one as a john at the rate of db.com. So basically I'm trying to modify the email ID and first name also I want to modify it. So basically I'm trying to modify two parameters, name and email ID. So before modifying the name and email ID, I need input for the student, which student I want to modify it. So for testing purpose, I'm going to take one of the ID from the input and finally I will modify. Once this modification is done, then I am going to get the corresponding student back from the database by using the same ID and I will return it back. Right? So now for this one, I had to restart our application and then we can test it. So we are going to use find by ID first and then we have missed something here. So once the student is available, once the student details are updated, what we have to do, you have to call save here. Save meaning we have to save the modified student, right? Once this save is successful, then it will return back to us a modified student back to us, and that student will return to the REST client. So basically what we are trying to do here, first we are retrieving the, so this is the first step, we have to retrieve the student, which student you are trying to modify, and then modify the field which you are interested, then save it back. Once the save is successful, it will return back to you the modified student. Once that is written back to API, then we can see it over here. So we have to restart our API again back. Okay, you can see over here, so our application is up and running. You can see 8080 port. So now what we are going to do, we are going to open our REST client and we are going to update one of the student ID. So this is the API we are going to call and we have to pass one of the ID, which student ID, name or details we want to update. Let me refresh this one. So these are the updated students. I'm going to modify the test Gmail user Suresh as the name, so to something different. So let me give this the ID. So if you see here, 245 currently name is Suresh and test at the rate of gmail.com. So this I'm going to modify as per hard coded details over here. So basically I just modified name as a John at the rate of gmail.com. So this is the name and name is John. So let me put it a proper camel case. So this is a John gmail.com. So this is the two details I'm trying to modify for the given or a selected student ID, right? So let me come back here and let me submit our request. Yes, now you can see come back. So the student ID got reflected, and John is the name, John at the rate of db.com. So basically here what I have done, so after changing the email I have not restarted. So let me restart one more time, and then we can rerun again. So before rerunning, let me modify the name again. Let me give the name as Srini, and the name here Srini gmail.com. So basically what I'm trying, again I'm modifying one more time. So first fetch the record, modify it, and update to the database. So before going back to the, so you can see here, currently we can see here, this is the student ID and this is the John db.com something. So I'm going to modify the same details back to something different. So for that I had to start the application. Okay, now let me put it here. So our application is ready. You can see here 8080 report is ready, and before updating you can see the current student details John db.com. So I'm going to modify this John to different details. So let me come back here, submit. So the issue is here, you can see here there is a 2 minus 1 is removed, and submit again. So you can get it back. Srini at the rate of gmail.com. So this is the way you can update a particular student. So now come back here and refresh. You can see here Srini gmail.com. So this is the way you can update one particular record. Say for instance, if you want to update all matching records also, it's possible. So there is a special API is already available, inbuilt API. So you can pass that one also. So you can see over here there is a save all is here. So you can pass the list of students which you are interested, so that can be updated for all the matching students. So then it will return back all the matching students. So this is one of the API which you can use it to update a specific record. So now the last record we are going to see is a delete all. So what it will do, it will try to delete all the records in a particular a table which is associated to your repository. Currently our repository is associated with a student table, so it will try to delete all the records into this table. So now to test this one, what you have to do, you can no need to restart, this is already present here API. So what you can do, you can call this API and then before deleting all you just verify from the database side. So how many records, there are many records you can see over here. So these many records is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send this request to here. So success you can see over here. So delete all executed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh the query, and you can see our records are 0 now. So basically it's deleted everything. So that's the reason we have executed this one at the end. So now we can see the delete all will delete all the records are associated to our repository, a table, right? JPA repository. So this is the way you can delete one record or all the records also. So these are the basic CRUD operations which is useful to build our application, like save, get one record by ID, find all, or delete by ID, or delete all, update by ID, or update all. So these are the basic CRUD operations which can be useful by using the JPA and Hibernate with the help of MySQL database. I think that's all about this video. If you like the video, you can subscribe the channel for more subsequent updates, and thank